Sagittarius, welcome to your reading for the full moon in Cancer. Today is January 2nd, so we are currently in that energy now. It peaks on January 3rd tomorrow. So this is a time to get real with yourself. Cancer is the moon, so it's going to be emotional. You're going to feel things. You may need to set some boundaries in an area of your life. We'll figure that out when we get into it a little more. So let's start off first. And, sorry, this sage. Hold on, give me a second here. Okay. Let's find out what area of life this could affect. Sagittarius, please. Okay, so we're looking at the 8th house. Okay, so this is joint assets, transformation, sex, and its inheritances. What sign energy? So we've got Aries energy. So that's a independent energy, and it's taking action. Okay, so maybe some action. You're taking action with transitioning on, or Sage. You might need to sage somebody out of your life. Maybe you're transitioning because, when you're talking about joint assets, right, there might be, Sage is getting crazy, isn't it? It's getting to the end. That could be something you're going through, taking action on maybe splitting assets or transforming yourself out of a certain situation. Let's get more on this, please. For Sagittarius. Take precautions. Okay, you're going to need to remain vigilant. Okay, so yeah. So the sage coming all up in my face. Me saying you need to sage somebody. I would say you're definitely transforming away from somebody, and you're going to need to be very careful as you do this while you're taking the action to be more independent on your own. Wise counsel. So make sure you're getting wise counsel and not just off. Man, that's shoo. Yeah. Yeah, seek correct guidance as you are splitting assets or inheritances. Okay, because there's definitely some negative energy. Feather of hope. So just know that, so with the feather of hope, okay, as long as you take precautions, you seek wise counsel as you're taking this action towards, splitting of assets, or if there's an inheritance that you're dealing with other family members, just know if you do the right things, there is hope, right? The situation can uplift and get a little easier for you. I'm getting the sense of don't take matters into your own hands, if that helps. Okay? And get yourself some sage. Golly day. Get yourself some sage. All right. Let's get more on this situation for Sagittarius. Okay, so we've got recalling. Yeah. Roller coaster. Lockdown. You're clearly going through a very up and down, like your emotions are all over the place, very up and down. You know, you're caught up in your head. You know, you're probably reminiscing over memories. So if some of you, if this is an inheritance, or if it's simply you're moving away from somebody and splitting assets, you know, you take that as it resonates. But it is very emotional, and you are very much in your head thinking and reminiscing about the old times. But it looks like the reminiscing with the take precautions also is be careful if you are trying to separate from somebody that they're, you know, oh, don't you remember when we used to do this and we used to do that and remember the good times. You know, that is what's going to get you caught up in your head as well, right? It's going to make you feel very vulnerable on an up and down, right? And well, like I was saying, the full moon in Cancer, you know, is emotional. So you're going to have your emotions pull you back towards somebody you may be splitting towards, or others of you, you know, finding yourself, you know, caught up in reminiscing over maybe a loss of a person, right? And so it's very emotionally for you trying to deal with the inheritances and the paperwork and everything that's involved. And they're saying make sure you have wise counsel, because if you're grieving somebody, you know, you could make a mistake and you don't want to try and do anything on your own. Okay, so I'm kind of getting this as two different scenarios for the Sagittarius folks here. Regardless, take precautions, because when you are emotional, you can make decisions based off of your emotions and how you're feeling in that moment, and that could not be the right decision. Okay, so let's go to the take precautions. Let's get a little more on this, please. Yeah, there's the Queen of Swords. Yeah, you're going to want to make sure communications are clear. That's Libra, Virgo energy. Truthful. Yeah, we've got the Chariot in reverse. Yeah, so that's why you're going to want to take precautions, right? So with the Queen of Swords, so the Chariot in reverse is your energy's scattered. Okay, so when the Chariot is in the upright, Cancer energy, you're clear. You know what you're saying, you know where you're going, you know what you're doing. In the reverse, in this situation, it's saying you might be a little scattered, okay? Roller coaster. You're a little all over the place because either, you're grieving somebody that you've lost, or some of you, it's the fact that you're going through a separation, and so you're getting caught up in the memories of, reminiscing, them trying to reminisce with you, the other party. And so you're going to want to take a breath, take precautions, make sure you're speaking clearly, because you are currently feeling a little scattered during this full moon time. Yeah, so there's the Ace of Swords in reverse. Yeah, so the Ace of Swords in reverse can be a misuse of power. So you want to make sure that somebody isn't taking an advantage of you during this situation, because it is very delicate, much like the feather. There is hope for you. Just make sure you have the right people on your side and helping to guide you through the situation. Okay? And that things are happening clearly. Paperwork is clear. Communications are clear. So that way nobody's taking an advantage of you by saying, oh, remember when, we had such a good time, and then it gets you all up in your head, and then you start reminiscing, and then, you might not be as, careful with the paperwork on what's fair and due to you, right? Okay. So let's go to this recalling. That's the World. You got to remember, if somebody is coming back to you, trying to reminisce, talk about the old times, and if you're getting caught up in that, you got to remember, there is a door that has closed. It's finished. And you're trying to open a new door, not the old door. Okay? It's yeah. Star in reverse. Exactly. Don't doubt yourself if somebody's reminiscing about the past, trying to hold on, and get y'all confused. If you've made your mind up, this is done. Okay? The disappointments were there. Close the door so a new door, feather of hope, can open up for you. Okay, a brighter future. Letting go of this person. So we've got Aquarius energy, Cancer energy, Libra, Virgo energy. Aquarius, Libra, Gemini again. Yeah, Temperance in the reverse. These are all majors. This is, a major life change for you. You have to remember that there was no balance with this person you're trying to separate from. Okay? It was always conflicting. So don't doubt yourself. Remember that. The door is closed. You're now opening a new door to something else new in your life. So it is going to be an emotional time. It is going to feel very up and down. You are going to feel yourself pulled back, especially during this full moon, because the Cancer energy is emotional. It's nurturing. It's, can be adaptable. Don't be adaptable for this person when you're trying to close the door. Okay, don't doubt yourself, and remember, there was no balance here. Okay? It was conflicting. There was no harmony with this person. All right, let's get you an angel number. Wise counsel, okay, and taking precautions is just a big thing for you during this time. Starting over. 210. You are presented with the opportunity of a fresh start and new beginnings. Release regrets and embrace the present moment with openness and optimism. Feather of hope. Okay? Release the regrets. So when they, you start to reminisce because they're trying to reminisce with you. No, you're starting over. Okay? You're starting over. Okay? The world is here. This is done. You know why it's done. It didn't work. No. You're starting over. Keep moving. This is going to be an emotional time for you. You're going to need to get real with yourself. You're going to need to remain grounded. You're going to have self-control because you are going to feel a little scattered. And make sure you got the right people helping you with this separation, divorce, ending. Some of you, it could be, like I said, inheritances. You want to make sure you're getting what's due to you in the inheritance and not allow somebody to, take something more from you. I feel the majority of you, this is, a separation. Full moon in Virgo. Complete your tasks and reflect on how you can be of service to others. Completion, service, reflection. Complete the tasks here. Virgo is about, the perfectionist, right? They focus on, the detail, right? They're detail oriented. They're a healer, okay? But also they're detail oriented, and you're going to need to remain detail oriented and take a breath so you can remember you're starting over. Don't let this person get you all mixed up and down, confused, up in your head. Okay? Take your time. Wise counsel. All right? So, Sagittarius, this is what I have for you. I hope this was helpful. I hope it resonated. If it does, hit the like button, share, subscribe, drop a comment if you feel inclined to do so, or if you feel comfortable. So happy full moon. Take a breath. You have this. Get the right people on your side and keep moving. Okay? Love and light. I will talk to you soon.